Jace needed money. Fast. His ship was broken. His food was gone. His credit account was nearly empty. And worst of all, he was stuck on Varel Prime, a luxury space station where even air cost extra. He checked his work terminal for the 5th time that day. No pilot jobs, no cargo runs, no ship cleaning offers, just one new ad, blinking in red. Stellar sensations, elite companionship needed, must be human. Good with touch and emotion, high pay, low effort. Jace raised an eyebrow. Personal service, he mumbled. Sounds like massage or maybe dinner parties. He clicked accept. 3 hours later, Jace stood in a clean black uniform inside a glowing white building. He looked around. Soft music played in the background. The floor felt warm under his boots. The air smelled like fruit and flowers. A smooth alien voice spoke behind him. "You're the new one?" Jace turned. A tall, green-skinned woman in a white robe walked toward him. Her eyes glowed faint gold. Her walk was silent. Yeah. Jace. I signed the contract online, he said. She nodded and handed him a small chip. You've been booked, already. Very high-level client. Private session. Room 7. Booked already? He blinked. I thought there'd be training or... She smiled gently. Don't worry. Humans are naturally skilled. Just listen. Just connect. You'll do fine. Before he could ask anything else, she turned and left. Room 7 was quiet and dim. One chair, one round table, soft red lights. Then the door opened, and she walked in. She was taller than Jace by a head, skin like polished silver, hair that shimmered like dark water. She wore a cloak made of moving light. And when she looked at him, it wasn't like looking at a man. It was like looking into him. You are the human? She asked. Jace stood straighter. Yes. Jace. I'm here for the session. She stepped closer, slowly, examining his face, his hands, his eyes. Then whispered, You're warmer than I expected. He chuckled nervously. I've been told that. She placed one hand on his chest. He froze. You feel... real. He blinked. Wasn't that part of the deal? She stepped back and sat down. You may begin. He looked confused. Begin? What? She tilted her head. The service. Tell me a story. Something painful, then something happy, then something... raw. Now he was really confused. Wait, you don't want a massage? Or dinner? Or like... a foot rub? She smiled. A sad, beautiful smile. No. I want to feel what you feel. I want to touch your emotions. That's what humans are best at. That's why I paid triple. Jace's mouth opened, then closed. This was not what he expected. Still, he sat down and started talking. He told her about Earth, about how cities drowned and skies burned, about his sister who got sick and never woke up, about the time he laughed so hard with his crew that he cried, about what it felt like to hold someone who trusted him completely. He didn't even know why he told her all that. But she listened, eyes wide, hands shaking, breathing fast. When he finally stopped, the room was quiet. Then, she reached out and touched his face. Soft. Careful. No one told me it would feel like this. You're not just company. You're a storm. Jace blinked. That's a lot. She stood. Her cloak flickered like starlight, then whispered, This was only our first session. I've already recommended you to my sisters. Jace woke up to a soft chime from his datapad. He blinked, rolled over, and reached for it, expecting maybe 1 or 2 session requests. 12. 12 new appointments, all scheduled within 48 hours, all marked with red stars, and all from Alien. Women with titles like Duchess of Firepath, Grand Empress in Waiting of Riss, High Mindseer of Tel Nivor. Jace groaned and sat up. I just wanted to fix my ship. In the lounge, the receptionist gave him a smile too wide to trust. You've become our #1 human. Didn't know it was a race, Jace muttered. She leaned in and whispered, Some of them flew across star systems just for you. He blinked. Wait, some of who? That's when the first 3 clients arrived. At the same time, they didn't knock, they didn't speak. They just walked in one after another, tall, regal, dangerous. Each of them looked Jace up and down like he was the only fruit on the tree. The first one, the Duchess of Firepath, said calmly, He will spend the full cycle with me. I've booked priority time. The second, the Empress-in-Waiting, smiled coldly. Incorrect. He agreed to bond whispers with me tonight. The third, the Mindseer, didn't speak. She just stared at Jace, and he suddenly felt a message in his head. You belong to me now. Jace stood in the middle of the room, sweating. I think there's been a mix-up? The receptionist backed away slowly. We don't get involved in priority disputes. The Duchess stepped forward, handing Jace a velvet box. Inside, a glowing necklace made of starlight threads. Accept this, and you become my seasonal companion. Before he could answer, the Empress handed him a ring made of liquid stone. Mine marks permanent memory sharing. Then the Mindseer touched his wrist and left behind a blue mark, a claim. Jace stepped back, hands in the air. Ladies, I'm just a guy from Earth. I fix engines, I eat canned soup, I cry at old movies. They stared. No one blinked. He kept going. I'm not a hero, I'm not special. I don't glow in the dark. The Duchess raised an eyebrow. But you make us feel something. Something no other species can. He looked at the glowing ring, the blue mark, and the strange necklace, then said the only thing that made sense. I need to lie down. Later that night, he hid in his room. Door locked, he paced back and forth. I thought I was just giving comfort, talking, maybe some deep emotions. Now I'm Galactic royalty's plaything. Then his datapad buzzed. Private message, unknown. Sender, they don't love you, they just want what you carry inside. You're not a companion, you're the ignition key. The ship didn't knock. It just opened its ramp and waited. No lights, no crew, no sound, just expectation. Jace stood at the window of his station room, heart racing. He hadn't agreed to anything. But somehow, his name was already in the ship's system. The screen on his pad blinked. Passenger confirmed, Jace Harlan. Destination, private estate, Sector 9X, clearance, level Imperial. Before he could decide what to do, his door unlocked on its own, hissed open, and 2 guards in silent, gold-trimmed armor stepped in. One held out a small card with a single name, Lady Tevessa. Jace didn't argue. Something in the air told him not to. It wasn't fear. It was something colder, like stepping into a deal already made. The ride was silent. The ship moved fast. Too fast. They weren't flying to another part of the station. They were leaving orbit. When they arrived, the ship didn't land. It docked inside a floating palace. Yes, a literal palace in space. Gold towers, waterfalls held in anti-grav rings, servants that floated, silk-covered walkways, and at the end of it all, her Lady Tevessa. She didn't walk. She glided, wearing a dress of shifting stars. Her eyes shimmered like frozen time. She looked at Jace like she already owned him. And maybe she did. Welcome, she said, voice smooth as glass. I apologize for the forced invitation, but it was necessary. Jace raised an eyebrow. Kidnapping is necessary now? She smiled. When you become the most emotionally responsive human in the quadrant? Yes. She walked past him, motioned for him to follow. He did. Silently. Through a glowing hall, into a private chamber filled with pillows, steam, and ancient music. She sat. He stayed standing. Then she said something that froze his spine. I bought your contract. You are now exclusive to me. Jace blinked. I didn't sign anything like that, she nodded. No. But your agency accepted the offer, sealed and confirmed. You belong to me. For now. He paced slowly, jaw tight. I'm not a toy. You are an experience, she corrected. One that no other species can provide. When you speak, when you feel, when you connect, it opens something in us. Something powerful, something rare. She leaned forward. And I want it. All of it. Then, she snapped her fingers, a screen lit up. Clips played of Jace. Sessions from the past week. Private ones, him talking, laughing, crying. Alien clients reacting, shaking, some sobbing, some in trance. You see? She whispered. Your gift is real, but you waste it on peasants. With me, your energy will be amplified, your memories will become entertainment, broadcast across my empire. Jace's fists clenched. So you want to turn my feelings into a show? She smiled. Not a show, darling. A galaxy-wide sensation. He stepped back, shaking his head. No, I won't be used like that. She stood slowly, eyes calm, but cold. I can make your life heaven, or silence your name so deeply Earth forgets you existed. Jace took a breath, looked her straight in the eyes and said, Then I'd rather be forgotten. He woke up in a garden that wasn't real. The trees glowed. The birds sang in reverse. The sky blinked like a broken screen. But what scared Jace most was that he didn't know his own name. He sat up, holding his head. Flashes hit him, a smile. A silver dress, a warm hand on his chest, a whisper. You belong to me now. Then pain. Bright white pain. And silence. A soft voice echoed through the sky. Lady Tevessa, good morning, my treasure. You're safe in your memory palace. Memory? Palace. Jace looked around. This wasn't a garden. This was a cage. Somewhere deep inside, something pushed back. He didn't know who he was. But he knew one thing. He wasn't hers. He stood, walked toward the edge of the world, and punched the sky. It cracked like glass. A glitch ran down the trees, and for the first time, the illusion broke. An alarm screamed. A hole opened beneath him, and suddenly, he dropped into the real world. Metal. Cold. Smoke. The inside of a luxury data chamber. He was strapped to a chair. Wires in his head. 2 guards frozen in shock. He ripped the wires out, grabbed a fire rod, and ran. Sirens echoed behind him. Guards shouted. But Jace was already gone, racing through golden halls, dodging drones, jumping over glowing pools. Everything in that palace was designed for pleasure, not for escape. He reached a hangar, found an old pilot's transport, started it with a stolen passkey. The ship hummed, the doors opened, and then he vanished into space. Only hours later did Tevessa walk into the broken chamber. She stared at the cracked chair, the empty wires, the sparks on the floor, then smiled. So the human has fire after all. She turned to her assistant. Release his profile. Every rich collector in the sector will want a piece. Meanwhile, Jace drifted into orbit around a rust-covered moon. Low, fuel, no weapons, no idea where he really was. He stared at his reflection in the window, eyes dark, neck marked with a faint glowing thread, her control tag. He gritted his teeth and whispered, You wanted a show. Now watch me burn it all down. He landed on the moon and staggered into a small junk market. There he found someone he didn't expect, a woman with deep green skin, quiet, careful, fast hands. You're Jace, she said. He froze. Who's asking? I'm Mira. I used to work for Tevessa, until she bonded me to a noble who erased my voice. Jace blinked. You escaped? She nodded. Now I help others like you disappear. She touched the mark on his neck. Eyes narrowed. That's not just a tag, that's a beacon, they're already coming. The galaxy knew his face, but no one had ever heard his voice. Until now. Jace stood in a rusted control room on the edge of a forgotten moon. Behind him, screens flickered. Beside him, Mira adjusted the transmitter wires with steady hands. You really want to say this? She asked. Jace looked at the camera, eyes bruised, neck marked, but standing tall. Yeah, he said. It's time they see me as more than a product. Across the stars, on planets dripping in gold, in luxury towers filled with silk and song. His face appeared, uninvited, unfiltered, and very, very human. To all of you who bought time with me, to every one of you who cried and called it love, you never asked what I felt. He looked into the lens. No hate, just truth. You say humans make you feel. But did you ever think we feel back? Aliens paused their parties, paused their pleasure streams. Some leaned forward, some looked away. I'm not a service, I'm a person. You didn't fall for me. You fell for the way I listened, because no one ever listened to you. On Zenthra Prime, the Duchess of Firepath shattered her drink. On Tel Nivor, the Mindseer whispered, he's awake now. To those still chasing me, stop calling it bonding. Call it what it is, hunting. And if you want a memory worth keeping, remember this. I was kind to you, even when you weren't kind to me. He stepped back. Mira cut the signal. Jace sat down, shaking. That was the stupidest thing I've ever done, he muttered. Mira smiled. No, that was the bravest. The galaxy didn't move for 7 full minutes. Then the reaction hit like a wave. News feeds exploded. Runaway human speaks. Galactic shame or galactic awakening. Clients in uproar. We were lied to by the agency. Empress of Risk cancels bonding ceremony. Need time to reflect. But not everyone was moved. Lady Tevessa sat in a quiet room, watching the replay on loop. She didn't blink. She simply said, if he wants to be more than a fantasy, I'll turn him into a legend. Meanwhile, Jace and Mira were on the move. They traveled through shadow markets and broken tunnels. But the message had already changed things. Locals gave him food, shelter. Some nodded with respect, and some wanted to fight beside him. Mira scanned a new message. Look at this, she said. A group of ex-bonded humans are building a network, underground, quiet, but growing fast. She handed him the device. Jace read the words. You spoke. We heard you. Now it's our turn. The room was silent. Too silent. Jace sat alone in the middle of the steel bunker. No guards, no cameras, no cuffs, just a warm light. And a table. On it, one item, a single black keycard. Then the voice came. Not loud, not angry. Calm, female. Rich, with power. You win, Jace, you made your point. He looked up. There were no speakers. The voice was inside the room itself. You shook the market. You made them question. But now you've become a risk. So here's the offer. The keycard, lit up softly. Take this and walk. You'll be erased from every bounty list. You'll get a new identity, a new ship, and a planet no one can find. Jace stood slowly. And the others? The humans still in the system? The voice sighed. They'll stay where they are. The galaxy isn't ready for all of them to rise yet. Jace stared at the card. It glowed in his hand. Freedom. Peace. A second chance. All he had to do was forget. Behind him, a screen came to life. Mira's face appeared, eyes wide, bleeding, chained. She whispered, Don't take it, Jace. They'll never stop with me next. He turned toward the camera. You took her? The voice smiled. No. She chose to help you. Now she pays the price. He looked down at the keycard one last time, then crushed it in his fist. I'm not leaving anyone behind. The lights went red. The door slammed open. Bounty guards rushed in. Jace didn't run. He charged. 2 minutes later, the guards were down. Sparks in the air, smoke rising. Jace stood over them, breathing hard, bloody nose, fire in his eyes. He picked up one of their ID chips and scanned it. It showed a map, Mira's location. A Syndicate core ship, locked, guarded, orbiting a city that worshipped luxury more than life. He grabbed his jacket, his boots, his pulse pistol, and said only one thing. I gave you a warning. Now I'm coming to take back more than just her. That night, across 6 systems, a single message appeared. He refused your reward. He refused your silence. He chose war, and he's not coming alone. The sky above Valhalla Prime was always clear, rich, blue, designed to be perfect. But that day, it was filled with fire. Ships burned across the upper clouds. Sirens rang through golden towers. Guards ran down crystal halls. And at the center of it all, one human walked in alone. Jace. His boots hit the marble floor with purpose. His shirt was torn, his jacket soaked in dust and blood, and around his neck, the broken mark of ownership still glowing faintly. The hall before him was massive. At the end stood Lady Tevessa, still perfect, still smiling, still waiting. Around her cameras floated. Her voice rang through every screen in the galaxy. "Look at what he's become," she said, angry, unstable, dangerous. He wanted to be free, but now he wants to destroy. Jace didn't flinch. He looked straight at her, then spoke. Not into a mic, just loud enough for the world to hear. "You were never afraid of my fists. You were afraid of my words." Gasps rippled across the station. Even her guards shifted slightly. "You told the galaxy I was a service, a product, a luxury. But I am the result of silence, and I'm done being silent." He stepped forward. Lady Tevessa held up her hand. A hidden weapon shimmered to life, pointed straight at him. She smiled. "Your story ends here, human." And that's when they came. Hundreds of ex-bonded humans stepped into the chamber. Some wore chains they had broken. Some wore suits, scars, uniforms. All wore the same look in their eyes. Enough. One by one, they stood behind Jace. He didn't turn. He just spoke again. "You can end me." But then what? The next human stands up, then another and another. Tevessa's hand shook slightly, her weapon lowered, not from weakness, but from fear. Fear of truth, of change, of something she couldn't control. Then, quietly, she asked, "What do you want?" Jace took a deep breath. "Freedom, for all of us, and laws that protect what you used to own." She didn't answer. But she didn't shoot. Instead, she stepped back, turned, and walked away. Later that night, across every major system, a new law passed. No species shall be bonded, purchased, or emotionally contracted without full consent, equal power, and clear exit. The Human Protection Accord was signed by 43 systems. Jace didn't ask for fame, but the galaxy gave him something else: respect.